Good morning, students. We are going to do the interpretation of the third stanza of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Let's go back a little to the first stanza and to the second stanza. In the first stanza, the poet talks about the classroom in a school and the students who attend this class. The students are sick, the students are ill, and they are unhappy. They are students with their head weighed down, either with the problems of everyday life or because of poverty. There's a paper-thin boy with eyes like a rat's. There's another one who is repeating the disease of his father, the genetic disease. So most of the students who have come to this school, they are from a background where there is a lot of poverty and there is a lot of illness, sickness and unhappiness. Now in the second stanza, he talks about the classroom in which they are attending their studies. This classroom has sour walls, and these sour walls, sour cream walls, these sour cream walls have turned yellowish and reflect the despondent look of the students. It is also suggestive of the bitter life that the slum children lead. The color cream suggests of the decaying aspect and the pathetic condition of the lives of the children. Now, they are not at all happy with this classroom. Yet, the classroom is covered with lots of donations, and these donations are in the form of maps, posters, pictures, and even a picture of Shakespeare. They are beautiful pictures of beautiful places, the Charles Valley, which is in the Austrian Alpine, with valleys full of flowers, and then there is the belled tombs, other beautiful things which talk about the progress, which talks about civilization, but it is far removed from the life of the children, from the world of these children. The world of these children is the slum. What they look outside, their world is what they see outside the window of their own classroom, and their own, what do they see out of it? A sky with a sky which is leaden, and streets which are narrow, which do not give them chance and opportunity to escape out of this. And now we are going to do the third stanza. And the third stanza I'm going to read out first. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, the ship and with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in the cramped holes, from fog to endless night, or the slag heap these children, where skins peeped through the bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of the time and space is foggy slum. So blot the maps with slums as big as two. So this whole, when we read this whole poem, we can find the bitterness that is there, the poet's bitterness there. He is so unhappy between the contrast of the children of the slum and the children from the well-to-do families and from the higher society of from the higher strata of the society. And he wants to bring in equality among the children. So his voice is very bitter when he's talking about it. He voices what the children might feel. He is trying to think, he's trying to put himself in their place and imagine what the children might feel looking at the donated things. And he is very sure that these children are not at all happy when they look at the things donated by the people there. Donated by the rich class or by the capitalist, the things that are donated there. Why? Because their world is far removed from the world that is being shown in these pictures and in these posters and in the maps. The Shakespeare's bust that is there appears wicked. The poet calls it wicked because they can never reach that level of education to understand the work of Shakespeare. The education which they are getting here, he is very sure that this will not provide them that much of education with which they can read Shakespeare or understand Shakespeare. Then he calls the maps a bad example because these maps, they show beautiful places. They invite people to visit them, to find out about them. But for these children, it is a bad example. Why? Because these children will never have enough resources, will never have enough opportunity to escape from this place, to escape from the slum and go and visit these places. Unless, of course, they steal money or they commit a crime to collect enough money to visit these places. So the poet says that these maps are a bad example for these children because it is inciting them, it is tempting them to commit a crime or to run away from these places or to steal money and then to run away to these places. The children are tempted to steal with ideas of escape which for them are unattainable. Otherwise, it's unattainable to see these places. So, maps appear terrible to children. Their lives are troubled by their poverty and cramped existence. Their lives, it is troubled by poverty. They do not have the opportunity to leave this place and go because they are in a vicious circle of poverty, and their existence inside their houses and outside their houses in the slum, it is a cramped existence. They are doomed to cramped holes in limited, restrictive lives. Their life is doomed. They cannot escape. They do not have the opportunity or the chance to come out of this place. The houses in which they are living, it's like cramped holes, small little houses with number of people living together, and it restricts them. Even getting enough space in the house, it's difficult for them. Their lives progress from ignorance to death. Ignorance, the fog stands for ignorance. What education they are receiving here, it's not enough to change their lot, to change their fortune, to change their future. It is foggy. They cannot see through with this kind of education, they cannot see that what is going to be their future. And their whole life is like a night, right from the childhood till the time they do not die. It is a continuous night, it is a continuous struggle, it is a continuous time to see what they can achieve without realizing any of their dreams or without realizing any of their opportunity. Fog and darkness have dominated not only the congested houses, but their lives too. And the fog and darkness, there's not just fog around that place, there's not just darkness in their houses, but in their lives also, because they do not have that bright light of the sun, they do not have that bright light of education to find an opportunity for themselves. Here the poet refers to these children as slag heaps. What is slag? Slag is a pile of waste. It's a waste. And these children are called the slag heap. Why? Because they are unfit for the society. With their sick bodies and without any education, illiteracy, they are of no use for the society. They cannot contribute to the society. So the poet has called them as slag heap. The improvised bodies of the slum children referred as slag heap. The sick, the thin, the unhealthy bodies, they are as good as the slag heap. The word slag heap conveys the extreme poverty, misery, and the emaciated bodies of these children. So much of poverty that bones peeping through the skin. He has described these children with the bones peeping through their skin. They are so thin, they are so undernourished that they do not have any muscles on their body, but they just have bones covered with skin. And they are so malnutrition that they look like bags of bones. Some of the children, they have bad eyesight, they are using spectacles. But these spectacles are broken, the glasses are broken, and this shows that they do not have enough for bare necessities also. Their life is from fog to endless night. It is stuck in the traps of poverty till the end of their life. They cannot come out of it, and generation after generation, they are into this vicious circle, not able to come out of it. From fog to the endless nights. The whole life is like fog of uncertainty and discomfort. Their whole life is a fog of uncertainty. Nothing is clear. They do not know what the future is. They do not know what the future holds or what do they do as they grow up. Right from childhood, their life is full of, it's like a fog. Poet wants to blot the maps. And the maps that are put up in the class, he wants to blot those maps because these maps promise nothing to the children, because their world, the world of the slum, is far removed from the world that is there in the maps, the beautiful places. The children, these maps, these donations, they offer nothing to the children which will make their life better. These maps, the poet calls these maps as a bad example. Why? Because the children can never go to, the children especially from the slums, they can never go to these places. The slum is the reality. They are doomed in slum. They cannot go to these places unless they steal, unless they commit a crime to get the money to go to those places which are shown on the map. So that is why the poet says that these maps are bad example. And he also warns us that if the situation for these children are not changed, then it is going to be a very dire consequences for these children. Might be they'll get into wrong work, they will get into crime, they'll do something which is not proper for the society, and then it is the whole society which will have to face the consequences. The fog will be replaced with death or doom from which they will never escape. And these children will be doomed to die as grown-ups and not achieve. They will die, they will come to an end, their life will come to an end, but they will never be able to achieve their ambition or their what they had planned, or a better life what they had thought for themselves. Thank you very much. I hope this third stanza is clear and you'll be able to understand as you read the poem.